Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Debrief, the Legal Podcast. My name's Helen Looking, and I'm a solicitor who specialises in family law. And with me today, I've got my colleague, Natalie Maher, who also specialises in family law. And today, we're going to talk about the divorce process, which doesn't mean the financial process, it's separate. This is just about the step-by-step processes for a divorce. So, Natalie, please tell me, what's the step-by-step process for a divorce?
So, your first step in the divorce, you're going to want to make sure that you've got your marriage certificate to hand. If you don't already have that, you can contact your local registrar to request a certified copy of your marriage certificate. Once you've got that to hand, there is now an online process which makes things a lot easier. You will need to complete that online form, upload a copy of your marriage certificate, and pay the court fee, which currently is £612. There may be some circumstances where you could be exempt from paying that court fee, either partially or in full. So it might be worth investigating whether you could receive a full or partial refund or reimbursement of the fee. Once
Okay.
you've done that, you'll need to complete the online divorce application and submit that. The court usually will then arrange for service of that document on your ex-partner, and they'll have to have an opportunity to respond.
Okay, so when you say the court serve it, does that mean, do they send it to them in the post?
Yep, so they'll arrange to send that to them by post. They'll get a full copy of the divorce application. Notice that you've obviously submitted that application and a form that they'll need to complete to respond to the divorce application.
Okay, and they can do that online. The other party can respond to that online. Okay,
Yes, yeah.
right. And so they return that acknowledgement, we call that. They
Mhm.
return that to the court, and then what happens after that?
So once they've provided that response, the acknowledgement, you'll then be able to, 20 weeks after that, apply for your conditional order.
Okay, so there's a long period of time where nothing happens in the divorce process. And
Yes,
I think that's called the
cooling
cooling off
off.
period, isn't it?
It is, yeah,
Yes. Okay, and at the end of that period of time, the person who's made the application can apply for the conditional order.
correct.
Okay, and then what happens after that?
So once the conditional order application is submitted, the court will process that and you will receive something called a certificate of entitlement. That just confirms the day on which the court will pronounce your conditional order. You don't need to usually attend that hearing where the court pronounces the conditional order. You'll simply receive a copy of that, usually through email if you've submitted it online, but also by post if you've signed up to receive postal confirmation as well.
Okay, that's great. And then how do we conclude the divorce? Because it's not yet final, is it?
No, no, it's not yet final until you've applied for the final order of divorce. Once you've got your conditional order, there's a period of 6 weeks and 1 day before you can make the application for your final order of divorce. It's usually during that time that we would look to deal with the financial element, which, as you've mentioned, Helen, is completely separate to the divorce. So we usually recommend postponing making that application for the final order of divorce until after you've dealt with the financial element of your marriage.
Right, super. And then eventually, when you make your application for the final order of divorce,
Mhm.
the court usually grants that pretty quickly, don't they? Usually
They
within a
do.
day or so.
Yeah.
And then they send that to both parties.
Yes, both parties will receive a copy of the final order, and it's worth mentioning they'll receive a copy of the conditional order at the same time that that's been pronounced as well.
Yes, that's super. Thank you. So that's the divorce process, isn't it, from start to finish? But I think what's very important to remember is that all that process does is dissolve the marriage. So
Mm.
you are no longer married. What it doesn't do is have anything to do with the finances.
Mhm.
And for that, you need to make a separate application for a financial order and for that to be dealt with. And I think we're going to deal with that on another podcast.
Yes, we are. Yeah, we'll
Super.
touch on that.
Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you, Helen.